Our salvation do not depend on other people. It depends solely and entirely on us. Maybe some other persons can help us, but this is our job. This is our work. And we're going to do the work, whatever it takes. We do it now, or we do it in 20,000 years to come. This is our call. We must respond to it. So this is what storytelling helps us to do, so that it helps us to stand on the ground. We are not standing on the sand. You know, there is a difference between standing on the ground, a solid ground, and standing on mere sand. You know, when you stand on, we call it sand, that you will be moving because you are not really stable. But when you stand on a solid ground, which is your history, your heritage, your story, that is what builds up the solid ground upon which you are standing. Then you become immovable. Nothing can shake you. Nothing can shake you. Particularly when you are looking at this racial agenda that is set up against us. So we are not going to get salvation through that system until we love ourselves. Like Michael Mills would say, you need to love who you are. Love every part of you. Your hair, your color, the sound of your voice. There is nothing in you that you should be ashamed of. You really need to love yourself. And that is going to be very important for us. This conversation is particularly important. It's important for us in the diaspora, but it's also important for people that are in Africa, because what is tied up together is the same. So this is our heritage, our story that we are going to use to heal ourselves. This conversation is particularly important. It's important for us in the diaspora, but it's also important for people that are in Africa, because what is tied up together is the same. So this is our heritage, our story that we are going to use to heal ourselves. And of course, I'm also happy that Sister Gloria will be taking some time to explain some of these things later on, because we are talking of healing, we are talking of how to use the power of story, how to connect to our root, our source, where we are coming from, because we are not products of the academia. We were not generated from the computer. We are real people. We are real human beings, and there is a deep history behind us. So this is what storytelling helps us to do, so that it helps us to stand on the ground. We are not standing on the sand. You know, there is a difference between standing on the ground, a solid ground, and standing on mere sand. You know, when you stand on, we call it sand, that you will be moving because you are not really stable. But when you stand on a solid ground, which is your history, your heritage, your story, that is what builds up the solid ground upon which you are standing. Then you become immovable. Nothing can shake you. Nothing can shake you. All right, so like I say here, we don't have to wait for anybody. This is the time that we have set for this particular conversation. So we are seizing this time. It's important for us. We are taking it. Let's do what we have to do. My name is Obehi Ewanfoh. I'm originally from Nigeria. I am the author of the Storytelling Mastery, which basically takes people and businesses through the ABC of storytelling. Why that is important is that it helps people to sort of move beyond just the mere statistics, so that like I was saying before, the foundation, the who you are, your story, your heritage can actually be the solid ground upon which you stand. And in the area of business is the same too. And of course, today we are not only going to be talking about business, even though that can be part of it. We are talking about the diaspora storytelling. And the conversation that we have is going to be looking at how do we decolonize our mind, because that is very important for us. Because until we do that, we're not going to go very far. It is absolutely fundamental that we decolonize our mind so that we can move to the next level. A while ago, I was interviewing a very good artist from Senegal who is living in Milan. And of course, the conversation was a huge one because we're talking about different things relating to Africa. Then I said what I often say, that our salvation do not depend on other people. It depends solely and entirely on us. Maybe some other persons can help us, but this is our job. This is our work. And we're going to do the work, whatever it takes. We do it now, or we do it in 20,000 years to come. This is our call. We must respond to it. All right, so the conversation is using storytelling as a decolonizing tool for Africa and African diaspora. Now, I want to pass the mic to Nakasha. Nakasha, please, what is your first take on today's conversation?
Hi, my name is Nakasha. I am an author and business owner, and decolonizing the mind is the topic. It's very interesting. One, we've talked about it in a lot of different previous conversations we've had, and I think the biggest thing is getting to a point of like self-actualization. Let me give a little bit transparency. I'm super exhausted. I just got off of a trip. I'm in Tunisia right now, by the way, but I just got out the airport. But self-actualization, self-love, I think is the biggest thing that we have to focus on. Not even particularly relating to a race, but just as a species, like understanding the conception of love, unconditional love for self, I think is a really important factor of decolonizing the mind, because we've been so conditioned to think a certain type of way as far as like who we are supposed to be within a system and a structure to benefit someone else and not our own selves. So we've been conditioned not to develop our own institutions and philosophies and ways of thinking. We've been conditioned to support a system, as in like you talking about the university, or we're not robots thinking like computers, but we've been so conditioned in this generation to utilize the education system to get to where we can go. And then even when you're in that institution, at least from my experience being at one of the best institutions in America, like people are only thinking about how can they become employees. And I think that's something that needs to be decolonized. Like, why are we always thinking about being employed by someone else? And of course, like human resources is the most important thing, but that shouldn't be the end goal of your life, of how you expect to make a means. And I think oftentimes we've became so embedded in that structure because of what is generated through capitalism and racial capitalism and all those interesting things. So I think that once you understand unconditional love on an internal and then a universal level, everything else starts to unravel, right? And like your relationships starts to get better, whether they're family, platonic, or romantic. You start to actually receive what you feel about yourself, and then things can manifest forward. So love.
All right, thank you so much for that, Nakasha. That is really important. Hello, and thank you for checking out this video. I'm Obehi Ewanfoh, the host of the African Diaspora Storytelling series. Every 2 weeks, we meet up on LinkedIn to talk about different ways we can leverage the power of storytelling as people of African descent. Now, this is it. We are uniting the millions of Africans in the diaspora through the power of our story. It does sound like what you are interested in. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and share this video with your friends who might need it. Now back to today's conversation, because we are first of all going to love ourselves, because if we don't love ourselves, then whatever we are doing is going to be superficial. It's not going to land, because how are we going to love other people if we don't even love ourselves? And this is an argument that is going to come around again and again in our demography. In that, like Nakasha was saying, when we go through this educational system, we are educated to be like sort of being robot, because the education is very complex sometimes, in that it's very expensive to educate somebody. Because the institution or the state do not have these resources to do that, they do a kind of standardized form of just grouping people and making people fit into little boxes about there. that they have created. So they're not really looking for the potential of the individual, of the people. They're looking at how to put the people together. They get the best that they want. Then for the rest, you just need to serve the master. Whereas life originally was designed in a way that each and every one of us should become the best that we can be. Not few of us, but each and every one of us. And if we do this, life will become huge. Life will become really more beautiful than it is today, because we will reduce the suffering, because each of us would have been able to fully involved. And particularly for us, people of African and African descent, we feel this a lot, because like Nakasha also was saying, the capitalism that we have, that we are practicing, is a racist capitalism. For this reason, we are disadvantaged in that. So we need to look for a way to decolonize our mindset, so that we need to do what honor us, what honor our people, what give dignity to us. And these things are not automatic, particularly when you are looking at this racial agenda that is set up against us. So we are not going to get salvation through that system until we love ourselves. Like Michael Mills would say, you need to love who you are. Love every part of you. Your hair, your color, the sound of your voice. There is nothing in you that you should be ashamed of. You really need to love yourself. And that is going to be very important for us. And this is going to help us to even heal ourselves, because we can heal ourselves. I remember the other day I was interviewing an assistant professor in the US. They were talking about African history, talking about African heritage. But of course, we also talked about the epigenetic that many of us are suffering from. And it said something very important, that we can even heal our ancestors, because all of us are connected. None of us is exempted. None of us is free as long as we are not free. So by healing yourself, you are also healing generations that have come before you and the generation that is going to come after you, because you are part of the whole. You are not just alone as a singular entity. You are part of several thousands of people in a line of generations. So it is important that we decolonize our mind so that we can help many other people that we are not even able to see or touch just now. So this is fundamental.